vehicle we're featuring today, 1975 Porsche 911. So far from stock as to almost be ridiculous. This car was built by a shop in Ontario, California called Bisimoto. You know, this is the kind of story I love. I love these American dream stories where people come to America, they pick up the culture, they assimilate very quickly, and they make fantastic vehicles like this. Let's meet Bisi, the owner. Come on in. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you as well, Jay. How have you been?
Oh, good to see you. You came from Nigeria, correct?
Yes, I did. Absolutely.
Okay.
Just flew in a moment ago.
Just flew in an hour ago, already an American success story. But no, it's good. I mean, I love these kind of stories where people come here with basically nothing and they start new and just through hard work.
Yes,
and
sir.
I know you're an engineer.
Yes, I am.
And he's a very clever guy.
Thank
and
you.
He's built some amazing vehicles. We featured one on, well, we featured two of them on the CNBC show, but you'll see that later. We're going to deal with more of the technical aspects. I want to do this one because this is the first car you built, correct?
This is my first Porsche, the most
Right.
offering that's German in nature, and
Right.
I've always loved the beauty of the classic 911.
Right.
You know, with the RR layout, rear engine, rear-wheel drive, and it's just so iconic. But Jay, I'm an advocate of new technology, so
Right.
I combined the two. I took the beautiful classic 911 and infused it, impregnated it.
Impregnated it. That almost sounds obscene. That could get you deported. Actually.
With new technology.
All right. Well, let's. Where do you want to start? The front, the back? You want to start at the brakes and work our way back?
We can start from the very front.
Let's start
something
at the very
as simple
front.
as the optics. So
Right.
something that you wouldn't see on an older 911
Right.
are daytime running lights.
Right.
So I have this company, 911 Design,
Right.
911 headlights to be exact, and they have this modern optics with beautiful, I mean, it's at nighttime, it lights up the entire road
Right.
in a classic aperture. So it looks just like factory, but has everything you see in a modern Porsche, including daytime running lights, in the very front.
Okay. Very good. Now, why are the Drew's fasteners here?
So this is initially going to be my race car.
Okay.
So in case I have a mishap at the track, I can just pull the bumper out very easily. So
I
that's
see.
why I had the Zeus fasteners on
Gotcha,
there.
okay.
But it became so popular driving around this 75 vehicle that, hey, I said, you know what, let me give it a bit of a dual duty, both
Okay.
track and street.
And you've sort of blacked out the logo here.
Yes, keep it a little, make it a little mean. Just give it a little mean streak to it. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Moving back. I like this mirrors, the way
Thank
you've
you.
integrated this here.
550 Spyder, as you may recognize.
right.
Very nice throwback to that. Very aerodynamic. This originally came with a kind of intrusive flag mirrors.
Right.
I didn't like the flag mirrors at all.
Right, okay.
So I wanted something that was more aerodynamic and gave it a little flair, something a little different touch.
And the wheels are what?
1552. These are outlaw wheels. You know Magnus Walker.
Yes, of course.
Great guy. This his own design, and
Okay.
1552 manufactures it for him. So I threw on these 17-inch wheels, which are a nod to the old Fuchs, and they're absolutely beautiful. It has a little bit more of a modern take, but still is classic enough to be befitting on this
Okay.
older chassis.
And what are the brakes?
So Stop Tech, they have these. It was like almost like a prototype setup from Stop Tech
Yeah.
through their centric division.
Right.
So they are modernized Carrera brakes
Right.
on this classic 911, so I can have the stopping power. It's not boosted, it's still manual like the other red one.
Right.
But does a good job, does a decent job.
So those are brakes from what year, Carrera? would
I
you
believe
say?
it was a 2004.
Okay,
with these.
okay,
Yes,
very
sir.
good.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
They're slightly vented.
So those are
as well.
still Porsche?
Still Porsche, very Porsche. Very Porsche
Okay,
indeed.
moving back, not much change here. All this appears to be stock. Bigger flares?
Yes, that is
Yeah.
correct. These are actually proper 930 flares.
Okay.
But above and beyond that, on the interior, I use an RS kit because I wanted something that was very minimal, also lightweight, but can still give it a feel where it's not too racy, but just appropriate amount of race touches.
And of course,
to
there
it.
were no flares in 75.
That's
were there?
correct, sir.
Yeah, of
That's
course.
correct.
Okay. And of course, the roll bar is what?
So this is a 6-point cage. Steam
Right.
Chassis and Signal Hill did a good job in helping us with this. You may notice the shifter gives a little bit away for what lurks underneath the rear bonnet.
Yeah.
And you'll be pleased to know, Jay, that once again, on my mindset of having something very modern, the pedal doesn't look like a standard 911 pedal. It's actually a drive-by-wire pedal. And as you can see, my tachometer, even though it shows 11,000 RPMs,
Right.
I do take it to a red line of 8100, which is
Okay.
very nice.
Okay. See, I just like the fact you say tachometer as opposed to tachometer.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's come on back here. And of course, now this is not a 911 wing. Is this somebody else's? Or?
Well, actually, you know what I loved when I was back in Nigeria? I loved seeing the IROC Porsches.
Right.
So those that used to race in Riverside Raceway,
right.
that was a little bit close to Ontario, but That raceway is long gone.
Right.
So I wanted something to really give a nice nod to the IROC look. But from afar, it may look like a naturally aspirated IROC, but have tons of power and just a nice clean line. So the front bumper IROC, this is a nod to the IROC rear wing.
Okay. But where does this
That's
rear wing come from? Is it aftermarket?
It's an aftermarket one,
Right,
yes.
right,
But it's supposed to be an IROC wing, but an aftermarket IROC,
Okay.
indeed.
And I like the way you've integrated this.
Thank you. That's our air-to-air intercooler, spherical intercooler.
And
that
much
we
bigger,
used.
isn't it?
Much larger.
Oh yeah, it's
much
like
larger.
3 times the size, isn't it?
Yes,
Isn't
sir.
it about 3 times the size?
About 3 times the size.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
good. Very
Yeah.
good, Jason.
Now, coming back here,
This is where the magic
you
happens.
see these turbos way
Yes.
back here. How far are those from? Do you get a bit of lag with these?
A little bit, but you know what we did? I used a long tube primary that merges right before the turbo. So it's
Okay.
not so bad at all.
But
The
you
leg's
know,
not so bad.
I kind of enjoy that early turbo lag. You put your foot in,
Yes.
and then
it
you
comes
feel-
on and smacks you.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. I like that. It's very cool.
Well, this is very linear. If you have an opportunity to drive it, you'll see that it's a very nice linear, but she can really scare you.
Yeah.
Jay, these are twin 57 millimeter billet Turbonex turbos.
Okay.
And they're filtered by AEM dry flow filters, which are very, very user friendly and don't need that much maintenance. And at 18 PSI of boost, guess what she makes?
I don't know.
850 horsepower.
It's 850.
850.
Wow.
So we have to be careful
Okay.
with her, because she'll bite.
And the transmission takes it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have a 997 gearbox. So
Okay.
something I haven't talked about is, once again, in my quest for modern technology in an older chassis, this does have a water-cooled power plant from
Okay.
Porsche.
It's water cooled.
It's a water-cooled power plant. So it does
Not
have
just the heads.
Not just the heads, the entire block. It has a 996
Oh,
turbo
okay.
engine with
Ah.
a 997 gearbox, hence the shifter gave it away a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
Hence combining all Porsche's modern amenities with drive-by-wire CAN bus and water-cooled power plants with an older chassis. That looks
Now,
very
do you
nice.
ever run a cover over that at
You
all?
can, but
Yeah.
the chicks dig it like this.
Yeah.
So I can't leave it alone.
Chicks
Yeah, they dig it like
really? Yeah. I can't beat that, I guess.
But I'd like to leave it open and show off the
Well, yeah, it looks cool. It
Thank
looks
you, sir.
cool.
Thank you, Jay. It's a bit
But
of a
it
signature
does
for us
give it
now.
away. It does make you
Yes.
go, oh, we think twice before.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's see. Let's open the.
Sounds good. I'll
engine
open the rear
compartment.
deck lid.
Okay, let's lift it up and see what we got here. Okay.
Ah, there you go.
So this is a water-cooled motor,
Yes,
but
it
this
is.
is just for the turbos, right?
That's just the intercooler
Oh,
that
wow.
allows for heat
Jeez,
exchange.
good heavens.
Yes, sir. It's pretty large.
That is pretty large. And your radiator is in front?
Radiators in the front. That cools the
Okay.
engine.
Do
So
you,
that
have
little-
do you have electric water pumps moving the water?
Actually, I
too?
do. In
Yeah.
between the engine does have its own mechanical pump, but I
Right.
also accentuate that when electrical.
Yeah,
as
you
well.
need the
We
electric
need that
because
to
you're
help.
moving at such a distance.
Absolutely,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
Two electric water pumps or one?
Just a single one.
Just a
single
single
one so
one,
far.
okay.
And she does a good job.
Yeah.
So it's a 3.4 liter mill,
Right.
factory treated crankshaft from Porsche, Bisimoto spec rods, Trom 9.1 to 1 compression pistons,
9.1?
1 to 1.
Okay.
So it's a fairly low compression. Also uses some custom level 2.4 Bisimoto web camshafts, custom valve train as well. Runs on 91 octane, so you don't have to have any range anxiety, but
Right.
also to be able to keep things safe, I run an AEM water methanol kit.
Oh,
So
okay.
water methanol from the World War II planes that they used when the
Right.
fuel
yeah.
wasn't
Well,
very
I use that
plentiful.
in my twin turbo Oldsmobile.
Very nice.
And that I use that too to keep it from detonating, and it
Yeah.
works fine.
It works very well. I have
and it's
two,
amazing how much water it uses. isn't
Yeah,
it?
it does use quite a bit.
And-
I have two nozzles too, two
Yeah.
500cc nozzles.
Yeah,
so it's
Italy,
pretty
and
easy.
it only comes on at what? Once you get past $4,000, something like that.
In my case, I have it boost dependent. So after 6 PSI, it comes in and it weans itself to about 18
Oh,
in a
okay.
nice linear fashion, which is
Gotcha.
very, very nice.
I noticed you have Drew's fasteners to take all these pieces off
Yes,
as well.
just in case you have any mishaps, you can easily swap it out as you would any
Yes,
race
it's
car.
nicely done.
And to protect the engine, I'm a huge advocate. You know, many people know me as an engineer, but I'm actually a chemical engineer. So
Right.
I'm very, very big with lubrication. So I use Purell oils on this, the 10W40, which is very nice. And then between the gearbox and the engine, everything is tied together with an action clutch, which allows
Okay.
me to transfer that power very nicely through the factory CV axles.
So you run a synthetic on this.
I run the pure synthetic.
Pure synthetic.
No rubbish.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
No
And
rubbish at all.
10W40?
10W40.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very nice.
So she's very enjoyable. I have a boost per speed protocol, so you don't have the entire 850 in every gear.
Right.
In lower speeds, you hover around 500. As you go faster, the boost comes up
Gotcha.
and gives you a nice transition. So it's a little comfortable.
Can we see that radiator in the front?
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so take a look at the front. Now, these are my prototype. I'm always constantly experimenting with this.
Right.
So here she is. So a proper fuel cell, Odyssey
Okay.
battery, and then underneath is a fan under this
Gotcha. So it's
Nice
pulling the
radiator.
air
It's
from
pulling it from
down
the front,
below. Okay.
and then evacuating from the bottom. And
Where do you evacuate the air from?
right in the bottom.
Okay.
So you see this nice little shroud here
Right.
that makes sure that the air gets distributed the entire length of the radiator.
Gotcha.
And evacuates underneath.
Okay.
And this is a Griffin radiator, and my fan is controlled by the AM EMS that I use for all fuel and ignition parameters.
And that canister there is?
Just a little catch can. So in case I have any
gotcha.
expansion
Overflow.
of water, it collects in there.
And that's your methanol?
That's my water methanol reservoir.
Okay. Now you wanted what, 50-50 methanol mix?
50-50, exactly. Very good. DI water and pure lab grade methanol.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. All right, I like the way your battery is mounted as well.
Thank you. That's a Ren line mount.
And that's
commercially available.
enough to crank this thing? huh?
Absolutely, sir. Even in very cold weather.
Yeah, yeah. I know it can drop to as much as 70 degrees in Ontario, California. Yeah, and look how simple these early 75
Yes,
Porsches
isn't it
are.
amazing?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. 1975 is a long time ago.
Yes, sir.
How long have you had this car?
I built this in 2007.
Okay.
So I do have, once again, on that whole kick of being modern, I do have coilovers underneath as well, in the
Right.
front and rear. Our own spec as well, which we
Now,
use
was
on
it
site.
a really rough, just beat up Porsche when you got
So
it?
I picked up in San Diego. It was a silver roller, devoid of interior and engine.
Yeah.
And I wanted to build something that everyone would pay attention to.
Okay.
Meaning the purists would say, what did he do? But also the hot rodding Porsche guys would say, hey, that's pretty cool.
Right, right.
And this really spearheaded my journey into the Porsche realm, and it's been a great journey ever since. I just love modern tech, and I love classic cars.
Now, is this is not your brake master?
Is my brake master reservoir.
Well, now, where is your master cylinder?
Well, the master cylinder is underneath the vehicle.
Oh, okay.
So it's actually directly by the brake pedal itself.
Gotcha, gotcha. Is it a dual or a single?
It's a dual.
It is a dual.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh, nicely done.
Thank you so much, Jay. I appreciate that.
Cool, cool.
Thank you. And we have many more. This is my first prototype, but
Right.
nowadays we have clients from all around the world that bring us cars to modernize for them, to give them that nice feel of modern technology, but still the old school look.
No, you certainly have that.
Thank you, Jay.
Let's go through the interior again. Hey, we can shut that front.
No worries.
Anything else we're missing before we take it for a ride?
Seats, Momo seats, the ECU is right there in the back from AEM.
Are people surprised when they find out it's a water-cooled
Very
car?
much so.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
gone to a couple of air-cooled events where I got kicked out of.
Oh, well, yeah, yeah. You can't go to an air-cooled event. Yeah.
But Jay, it's a joy to drive. I look
Yeah.
forward to your input on it.
Yeah. No, I'm excited about it.
Thank you, Jay.
Very nice, very nice. Because it doesn't look until you get to the back and see the turbos what it is.
Yes.
And have you raced it? Or do you track this a lot?
I have gone to Streets of Willow once in a
Yeah.
while with it, but she does a lot of duty driving around the streets of Ontario
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Southern California.
Very nice.
Thank you, sir.
Stock steering rack?
Stock steering rack with a Momo prototypo steering wheel, which
Right.
gives you a nice feel and that nice elegance to it as well.
Well, I think we're about ready to take this thing for a ride. What do you
Sounds
say?
good. Pretty
Let's do
excited. Let's do it.
Let's find some 918s. Very nice.
Thank you, Jay.
Everything works really good. Oh, nicely.
Thank you.
Wow.
She gets up.
No, that's straight and true.
What's interesting is this is the first Porsche engine I ever built.
This is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever. First six-cylinder I ever built.
First six-cylinder?
I ever built. Because I honed my teeth in small displacement four cylinders. That's why I started.
Stop right on the line. Brakes are good.
Oh, thank you, sir.
What's this weigh, about 2,400 pounds?
Jay, you have to stop it. You're exactly correct.
24?
24 even.
It seems like 24.
Yeah. I was shocked. I thought she'd be much heavier. And then we had a race in Fontana and I weighed it.
Well, you know, you look under the hood, and it's just a stamping of.
Yes, sir.
You know, you realize there's not that much weight
Very
here.
true.
You know,
Very true.
The biggest thing is probably this roll bar.
Yes, sir.
What's that? 250?
I don't know, because I didn't weigh it prior. I just weighed it complete with
I'll bet this is 2 1/4
probably
at
right.
least, and then you know with the shell and you know, Singer does those carbon fiber front edges.
Yes,
so.
they're very nice. Yeah, Rob does good work.
Yeah, very good work. I see how those turbos could catch you out in the corner though, couldn't
Yes,
they?
sir. But you know what's so key is tuning. People ask me all the time, BC, what makes a reliable setup? Tuning is everything, and having that in-house dyno allows us to do really creative things. But Jay, I really think that the next level is the electrification of these cars. I really do.
That is the next level.
Yeah. So when I think about modernizing that, most likely that's the next thing I'm going to do is do something really fun, give it a soul.
I mean, to
but
me, the
electrify
next
it.
level is seamlessness.
Aha.
Integrating it so it literally, you know, the most impressive thing about the McLaren, because a lot of people come by with big engines and they're making a lot of noise, and you get in the P1, and it's so, your shifts are so, you can't even tell. It's so, literally. And this is pretty seamless.
So remember we're talking about lag? This is much better than you never drove my 996, but this pulls up much nicer than the my other setup that I saw when I
Well,
first
you've
met
got so
you.
much pull, the lag just seems, it's not really lag.
Yes, sir.
It's not like it's limp and then it goes crazy. It's strong and then it gets stronger, you know, so. Plus it's reasonably linear, so it doesn't,
Understood.
it's not a punch in the face, you know.
Exactly.
It's like somebody slowly grabbing your arm and
Right.
squeezing it, you know. Are these oil-cooled turbos?
Yes, they are, sir.
Yeah. They have a separate oil cooler for the turbo? Or is it
I
just
use engine oil. I use engine oil. I have a scavenge pump system and I filter it properly.
So what kind of oil temperatures do you get?
I barely get into the 260s.
Really?
Yeah. The compound I use is really, really good. Some aerospace stuff, and the compound is absolutely amazing. I rarely get to 300s, rarely.
I like the high pitch of the turbo.
Thank you.
It's not a low,
Yes,
you know what I mean? It seems like it's working extremely efficiently.
And that's the beauty of having turbos right now that have billet compressor wheels.
Yeah.
Much thinner, much more efficient. Moves more air per revolution than the older
nice
past
high
stuff.
pitch. Very nice. Very nice.
You're a good driver, Jay. Good driver. Most journalists are terrified of this car.
Oh, I like it. Very nice. I mean, it's very predictable. I mean, you know, it's not pulling left or right under acceleration or anything.
And we're two big guys in here.
I
We're two
know.
big guys. And
So when you say an expired engine, what do you mean?
well, the engine was blown. It had a bad cylinder and a melted piston. Hence, wouldn't run at all. Was smoking, was just horrible. So I had an opportunity to re-sleeve the block, get rid of all the aluminum in the sleeve itself, embed a ductile iron set of sleeves, get the custom Tron pistons, and build my very first 6-cylinder Porsche engine.
What year was the engine?
It was a 2001.
So that's not Nickel?
It was when I first got it,
Oh, okay.
but I got rid of that, and I wanted
Okay.
something much stronger, more robust, that can handle the rigors of the type of power I was going to put
And
into it.
what's more robust than Nickel?
I removed the aluminum Nickel lining and
Yeah.
impregnated some ductile iron sleeves in it.
Oh, okay. So
And the
put
ductile
your
iron sleeves
in,
are they have these buttresses on it, or I would say, how should I say, it had these pillars around it to help keep it away from
So how do
vibrating.
you remove the original sleeve?
You machine them out.
Or just machine them out?
Machine them out completely. Jay, what created your love for cars?
Huh?
When did you know you started loving cars? What created that love?
I grew up in a rural area, so that was broken mini bikes and lawnmowers and, you know, trucks abandoned in fields and stuff like that. My dad gave me a Briggs & Stratton engine once, and I took it apart and I said, I found out what's wrong. Piece piece of paper stuck between the cylinder. No, that turned out that was the head gasket.
Oh.
I was like 9.
Wow.
What's the steering rack? Stock?
Factory. Bone stock factory
very nice.
from the 70s, from 1975.
I like how much glass area there is on these early Porsches.
Yes, sir.
So many modern cars like the Camaros, I feel like I'm looking through a letterbox.
Understood. Yeah, this is a good visibility. This car originally came as a sunroof, and the team and I, we cut the top off and put a non-sunroof or a 912 roof on this.
You don't like the sunroof?
No, it was actually quite heavy, Jay.
Yeah, they are heavy, yeah. Feels factory.
Thank you. That's a compliment, Jay. Thank you so much.
Well, it is. I mean, it all integrates very nicely.
Jay, you're awesome.
It's very good.
So many people are terrified to even get into this thing. So I also have a bunch of fail-safes built into this.
Yeah.
So on a hot day like this, if our fuel requirements or octane requirements are not enough, the computer does a good job in monitoring knock per cylinder, and it retards timing and adds fuel to keep each cylinder safe.
As needed, huh?
Yes, sir. Something also unique to this, Jay, is that it's drive-by-wire. Some people complain that there's a delay with drive-by-wire devices, but I try to make it as responsive as possible. How does it feel in relation to a cable style?
I wouldn't know. I couldn't tell. Feels fine.
Beautiful.
It's funny, I've got an SLR McLaren.
Yes.
And that's got drive-by-wire brakes.
Oh, that's
I can
interesting.
almost swear I can feel that it's not even an amount of time I can measure. I just know it's there.
Right.
Well, Bisi, I'm very impressed. You know, I like the fact that this car does exactly what it's supposed to do without any excuses. There's no, oh, I'm going to fix that when I get it home or any of that.
Thank you,
I mean,
Jay.
it pulls nice and soft throughout the red drain, and it feels like it has exactly the amount of horsepower you said. You know, people come in with these crazy numbers all the time, and I go, that's more like 450 horse.
Understood.
You know, but this really feels like it's 8, what would you say, 830? 850, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, really strong, but not crazy. It's not pitching to the left or right. I mean, you can control the horsepower. Just keep your foot in it. Just keeps drawn straight. It's really, really impressive. Congratulations,
Thank you,
my
sir.
friend.
Thank you.
You got to bring some of your other stuff.
Oh, by all means. I have plenty for you.
All right, we're going to go look at his garage, see what he has next time. Thanks, you guys. Thanks for watching.
Mm-hmm.